Have you ever felt like you're drowning in uncertainty, desperately searching for something solid to hold on to? You're scrolling through endless news feeds, watching the world seem to spiral out of control, and that familiar weight of anxiety settles in your chest. What if I told you that the most powerful source of unshakable hope isn't found in circumstances, achievements, or even other people, but in something far greater and more reliable? Today, I want to share with you a life-transforming truth that has anchored millions of people through history's darkest moments. God is the ultimate source of hope, and when you place your trust in Him, He doesn't just offer you a band-aid solution. He fills your entire life with genuine peace and lasting joy. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're hiking through a dense forest, and suddenly you realize you're completely lost. Panic sets in as darkness approaches, but then you spot a lighthouse in the distance, its beam cutting through the shadows, guiding you home. That's exactly what God's hope does for your soul. It's not just wishful thinking or positive psychology. It's a supernatural anchor that holds steady when everything else shakes. Here's the beautiful thing about divine hope. Unlike human hope, which depends on favorable circumstances, God's hope is rooted in His unchanging character and promises. When you meditate on His promises of hope, you're not just reading ancient words. You're connecting with eternal truths that have sustained people through wars, famines, personal tragedies, and every imaginable hardship. Let me share how this works practically. Start each morning by spending just 10 minutes reflecting on one of God's promises. Maybe it's His promise in Jeremiah that He has plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. Or perhaps Romans, where Paul reminds us that God works all things together for good for those who love Him. As you meditate on these truths, something remarkable happens. Your perspective begins to shift from your problems to His power. But here's where many people get stuck. They read these promises intellectually, but never let them penetrate their hearts. The key is allowing His peace to actually fill your heart, not just your mind. This means creating space for quiet reflection, prayer, and genuine surrender. When you release your grip on controlling every outcome and trust His goodness, peace naturally follows. I remember meeting Sarah, a single mother facing foreclosure on her home. She felt completely hopeless until she began each day by declaring God's faithfulness over her situation. Within weeks, not only did unexpected financial help arrive, but more importantly, she experienced a supernatural peace that sustained her through the process. Her circumstances initially remained challenging, but her heart was transformed. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great in theory, but what about when life hits hard? What about real problems like illness, job loss, or broken relationships? Here's the profound truth. Hope in God isn't about denying reality or pretending everything is fine. It's about recognizing that your current chapter isn't your final story. God specializes in resurrection, in bringing life from death, beauty from ashes. The third action step is crucial and often overlooked. Share this hope with someone today. Hope multiplies when it's shared. Maybe it's a friend going through divorce, a colleague facing career uncertainty, or even a stranger who looks discouraged. When you become a carrier of hope, you're not just helping others. You're strengthening your own faith and creating a ripple effect of encouragement. Let me address the elephant in the room. Some of you are thinking, I've tried trusting God before, and I was disappointed. Perhaps you prayed for something specific that didn't happen the way you expected. Here's what I've learned. God's timeline isn't our timeline, and His ways are higher than our ways. Sometimes what feels like a no is actually protection. Sometimes delays are divine preparation for something better. As you begin this journey of placing your hope in God, start with this simple prayer. Lord, fill me with your peace and joy today. May my hope grow stronger in you. Don't just say these words. Mean them. Let them resonate in your spirit throughout your day. Remember this encouraging truth. Even when circumstances are difficult, hope in God never disappoints. It may not always look like what you expected, but it will always be exactly what you need. Stand firm in that trust, knowing that the God who created the universe cares intimately about every detail of your life. So here's your challenge. Choose one of God's promises to meditate on this week. Let His peace fill your heart through prayer and surrender. Then find one person to encourage with the hope you've discovered. Will you take that first step today and discover the unshakable hope that only comes from trusting in God?